Hi friends! This is going to be me explaining your theme paper outline a little bit to you. Basically, your theme paper is going to have one theme, and then you can choose 2 or 3 stories to write about that all kind of have the same or similar theme. You can choose your independent novel as well as 1 or 2 stories that we read in class. You can just choose 2 or 3 stories that we read in class to write about if you want. And remember, the Crucible is available to you too if you want to use that for one of your selections. Um, don't let this confuse you, but this is a very brief outline of the paper. And then down here, it's just a much more detailed outline. Okay, so don't let that overwhelm you. You're going to start off with an introduction, as our papers always do. In your intro, you'll have a hook. You'll start off with your hook, and then an overview of the titles and authors of 2 or 3 selections, whatever ones you chose, and then a discussion of one theme. In body paragraph number 1, that's where you're going to write about one story selection. Body paragraph number 2 is going to be about your second story selection. Body paragraph number 3 is going to be about your third story selection, but this one is optional. You only need 2 body paragraphs. It's optional to have a third. In the conclusion, you're going to make a final statement or 2 about the importance of the theme to humanity and to the world. So why it's so important. Okay, so down here when you go to the theme paper outline, again, your introduction paragraph will start off with a hook. We've done hooks many different times. Hopefully you have notes on hooks that you can look back on. Then you're going to give the titles and author selections. So you'll list all your stories. You'll give the title of each and the author. Put quotation marks around story titles. Italicize novel and play titles. Give a brief summary of the story selection. So like 1 sentence, tell me what each story was about. Really brief. And then preview the theme. So tell me what the theme is of all your stories. When you get to your body paragraphs, you're going to follow the same pattern for each body paragraph that you do. So you're going to start off with a topic sentence, present the story title, followed by the thematic statement about the theme. Again, remember we've done practices of these in class, so if you still have those practice assignments, those theme practice assignments that we did with each story, that'll help you here. Present the story along with the thematic statement. So what is the story? What's the theme of the story? Add all story details that prove the truth of the thematic statement. This is one of the most important parts, friends. You need all the details that you can find that prove your statement to be true. So it needs to be more than 1. You need, I would say at least 3 examples. There should be more than 1 example that you can find in the story that really proves your theme. The story details are your proof. They're the important part. They're the meat of this paragraph. Always tie the theme back to the story details, so make sure your story details tie in with whatever your theme is. Be sure to cite page numbers for all story details. This is something that people weren't always doing in their theme practice assignments. You need the page numbers. Story details can be summarized or directly copied, so you can summarize them yourself, or you can do, quoted examples from your stories. For directly copied details, use quotation marks. Make sure you use quotation marks if you're directly copying, otherwise it's plagiarism. Do not directly quote an entire conversation between characters. This has happened a lot in the past. People will document in their paper a whole conversation going back and forth between characters. You should just summarize that at that point instead of, having multiple characters talking back and forth in your paper. It's just too much. If you have too many quotes or too much going on with your examples, go back and summarize some of them instead of quoting them because it ends up just being overwhelming and too much. So then you conclude the paragraph with 2 things. A connecting statement, tying the evidence to the qualifying statement. That's the part that we did at the end of each of those theme assignments that we did for each story. A description of the message behind the story. So what's the message? Discuss what the author is trying to teach about the theme through the story and characters. Think beyond cliched statements. Try not to make it sound like a greeting card. Avoid using you and your when delivering the message. Actually, the entire paper should be in third person point of view, but here just make sure you don't end up giving advice and putting you and your in there because that does happen a lot. Okay, so here's an outline that you can use. Um, Maybe this is something that you want to make a copy of and start putting your own information in. This outline will really help you and it'll make sure that you have everything that you need. So please use this. Keep this out the whole time you're writing your paper. It'll be really helpful for you. And as always, if you need anything, please email me. We can meet on Google Meet or you can send me an email, whatever you need, and I'll help you out. Thanks, guys.